before. But we don't really have the resources of you ex-footballers or even some of the current guys who are now earning ridiculous amounts of money. And as we start recording, we hear that Victor Osimhen, who has just won the title in Italy, is being offered $1 million a week, or £1 million a week, is it? Euros? One of the two. Anyway, a lot of money per week in the region of 1 million to join the Saudi Pro League. £120 million bid has gone in from a club in Saudi Arabia. Will Napoli take it? Crook, this is not a startling deal because of what we've seen so far, but it's a huge deal, isn't it, for one of Europe's hottest properties?
Well, I think that's the key point here, is obviously there's a dearth of number 9s around the globe. We're talking about Harry Kane. If he does go to Bayern Munich, who could Tottenham possibly replace him with? I'm sure Osimhen would be on their list of targets. I know Chelsea have actively explored a deal as well. Manchester United at one stage. If he snubs all that European interest, snubs the Italian champion, snubs the chance to play in the Champions League, to go to Saudi Arabia at the peak of his powers, that's quite a big statement, isn't it? It's a worrying sign for European football.
A worrying sign for European football. And, you know, Eric Ten Hag was saying in an interview over the weekend, look, the Saudi Pro League and its sort of avalanche of players that are starting to drip out of Europe's leagues to go there is not affecting the Premier League spending power because the best players still want to go and play in that league. But this would signal a very big change.
Yeah, it would. First of all, Sam, I can't believe you're comparing me to a modern-day footballer, and especially one that just had an offer of $1 million, euros, pounds,
you look
whatever
$1 million,
it is.
Scott. You're in great nick.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you. Look, I mean, I'm all for competition. You know, is it ideal? Of course, we want all the very best players to be involved in the Premier League, but you know, how greedy do we want to be? And if Victor Osimhen wants to take the cash rather than be involved in a top Champions League team in Europe, well, you know, that's down to him, really. I still, you know, Crookie is right. I think there has been a dearth of real top-class number 9s, even though the way that football's going, it's almost like you're not a number 9 anymore. You need to be a number 10 as well. But look, if he wants to go and if other players wants to go, then that's an opportunity for other players to come in and do the business. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that is a good way of looking at it. And I suppose in one sense, Manchester United have managed to get their hands on a proper number 9. They have got hold of the Danish striker Rasmus Højlund, £70 million transfer or more with a few bits and pieces added on. £64 million with £8 million of add-ons for someone who scored 9 goals in Serie A last season. Immediately, you sit there and you think to yourself, hey, this is not necessarily a great deal. But, Alex, having spoken to people in Italy, and I spoke to Daniele Fisichella on the Sunday session on Sunday, he was talking about this being a huge talent. And actually, getting £72 million eventually for this player was a very good deal. But he knows that it could have been even bigger this time next year because this player went into Atalanta. He was the fourth choice striker at the beginning of the season. He established himself in the team, maybe with a little bit of luck because of injuries, etc. But he's tall, he's powerful, he's quick, he knows how to hold the ball up. He's got things he needs to work on. His passing isn't as crisp as maybe it might need to be in the Premier League, and that's something that Eric Ten Hag has got to get out of him. But in terms of his ability to bring others into play, his ability to hold the ball up, his ability to run in behind, he is a modern-day striker in the making. But Manchester United are paying for potential here, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And it's a sea change from the way they've done business in previous years by paying decent wages and top dollar for what they perceived as ready-made superstars. That hasn't been a particularly successful route. So I'm not negative about this signing. Like you, I've listened to people who have watched Højlund on a regular basis. Kevin Hatchard spoke very well about him over the course of the weekend on Trans-Europe Express as well. And he gave the impression that this could be a player ready-made for the Premier League. He's very physical. He's got blistering pace. Yes, he needs to improve his aerial ability. Probably needs to improve his finishing as well. But if you look at what Benny McCarthy did in that respect for Marcus Rashford last season in terms of improving him inside the penalty area, I think this is quite an exciting addition for Manchester United. I think it's a sensible piece of business.